The skirmish at Bender was devised to remove Charles XII of Sweden from the Ottoman Empire after his military defeats in Russia. It took place on February 1, 1713 on Ottoman territory, in what is now the town of Bender, Moldova. After the Swedish defeat at the Battle of Poltava on 27 June, 1709 and the surrender of most of the Swedish army at Prevelichna 3 days later, Charles XII of Sweden fled together with a few hundred Swedish soldiers and a large number of Cossacks to the Ottoman Empire, where they spent a total of 5 years. On January 31, 1713, Turkish artillery fired on the Swedish camp. On 1 February, the Ottoman forces, commanded by the Saraskar of Bender, attacked the camp. Together with some 40 soldiers, Charles XII stood against many hundreds of Turks. The Drab and Axel air crews in particular distinguished himself during the skirmish, and accounts tell that he saved the king's life 3 times during the day. The king himself killed at least 1 Ottoman soldier with his sword in hand-to-hand combat when he and Ruse came under attack by 3 Ottomans. During parts of the fighting, Charles was also actively sniping with a carbine against the assaulting enemy from a window in his sleeping quarters, positioned in the building where the Swedes had taken up their defense. The fighting lasted for over 7 hours and the Ottomans eventually used both artillery and fire arrows when the initial assaults were beaten back. The latter method proved to be effective. The fire arrows set the building's roof on fire and forced the defenders to abandon it. The fighting then came to an abrupt end when the king tripped on his own spurs while exiting the burning house. He was assaulted by scores of Ottoman soldiers who managed to capture him and the remaining fighters. After some time as a prisoner, Charles XII and his soldiers were released when news about the Swedish victory in the Battle of Gabus reached the Ottomans. Charles then started to plan his trip back to Sweden. Already in 1718, he led an army to conquer Norway in the Great Northern War, which ended in Swedish retreat upon the king's death.